Thank you for looking at the Plumbing Level 2 course content pages. So the four areas we're going to have a look at is the course content, i.e. what the units are and how they work. We're going to also look at some frequently asked questions, hopefully answer any questions you might have. We're then going to look at progression routes, what you would do after you finish this program and what you would and potentially could do. And then we can also have a look right at the end of how you can apply for this program if you are interested. Okay, let's have a look at the first 7 units then that we've got on program. So the first one is health and safety, fairly generic in construction, but obviously we'd have to work safely at all times whenever we carry out any tasks. So we're looking at basic PPE, working at height, and all the series of regulations. Then we look at science. Now science is all to do with the mechanical science that we have to do, and there's also a little bit to do with water pressure as well. So the science is really fundamental in our programs because it underpins every single other aspect that you're going to learn on program. Then we have site preparation. This is about setting out a site as such in terms of a work area, not a building site, but a work area. And this takes you through jointing of different types of pipe, taking up floorboards, notching joists, basic fixings using different types of screws, different types of raw plugs. Then we go into domestic cold water. So we start from the boundary all the way up to the domestic property, and we talk about a direct and an indirect cold water system, and we also look at the storage systems that are involved as well. When we look at hot water, we look at direct and indirect hot water. So we look at single point water heaters, we look at hot water cylinders, we look at the pipework design, and we look at the layout as well and how that complements the cold water system. Then we look at the central heating system. So this will cover your heat sources, including a few boilers. It will also cover the actual installation of radiators and the installation of pipework and circuitry, and any other valves or controls that are deemed necessary on the system. Then we look at sanitation. The sanitation is all above ground sanitation, so we're looking at soil stacks potentially outside with all the waste pipes and all the traps and the various different types of fittings and how they all go together to complement obviously a domestic property system. Okay, and we're going to look at the remaining 3 units now left on program, which makes a total of 10. So you've got communication with others. Again, that's all about who does what on different sites and the different job roles within building services engineering and also construction. We then have environmental awareness. This takes you through various of different systems that we do have a look at, including solar thermal. There is PV on there, then there's also rainwater harvesting, and there's a few others as well. We also have a look at best practice in terms of saving material, using as least material as we possibly can, and anything that we can do as plumbers that will help the environment also. We then have a look at the rainwater and guttering, which is the final unit, and that's the basics of how to put up the rainwater, the correct force of the rainwater, and all the various different types of fittings associated with rainwater and guttering. We have the following practical assessments that take place upon this slide as well. So we have, first of all, there's the 4 health and safety assessments. So the first one is manual handling, the safe lifting and moving of items, doing it correctly and obviously ensuring that your back is safe at all times. Then we have the working at height, which includes steps, ladders and scaffolding. Then we have the electrical safety unit, where we're obviously being able to make sure that we are able to isolate things correctly in the correct order to maintain safety at any one given time. Then we have the installation and the testing of an LPG bottle. So in terms of an installation of the bottle, it's connecting it all together, and then obviously all the tests that you should do prior to it being used. Then we have the copper frame that you have to produce, which is something called a PF1 frame. It's a variety of all different fittings, all different bends, and all different sizes of tube put together. Then we have the low carbon steel, pipework and radiator, again all set to different tolerances. Everything has to be straight and levelled and plumb, and obviously everything has to be watertight when filled. Then we have the rainwater, where you put up a section of guttering with a rainwater pipe with a return bend on the side of it as well. You ensure you have the correct falls, and then you carry out all the testings to make sure it's correct. And then you have your maintenance task, which is taking place on a variety of different taps and valves across all different 4 systems, which include cold water, hot water, heating and sanitation. So you'll be working on all different types of valves to do with those 4 key areas. The last assessment is an installation of a full bathroom suite, which includes obviously a toilet, basin, shower, bath. We have a radiator installation in there, as well as a combination jig. The combination jig is a mock assessment as a combination boiler would be connected in terms of pipe work. You have to complete all the underfloor pipe work and then everything above floor level as well. So the actual final assessment is that complete full working bathroom suite. All assessments we have are timed in a conjunction with the awarding body, and all assessments are taken under exam conditions. Assessors will make their assessment decisions at the end of the practical task and give feedback straight away to students on where they could improve and also indicate whether it's a pass or a refer. Okay, so we're looking at progression routes. So once you have completed your level 2 in plumbing, there are 2 or 3 options of which you could take. Again, this will vary from person to person. What we'd like to try and do is obviously when people get to the point of completion that there is a meeting with the actual lecturer and a progress coach to discuss further options and make decisions. Obviously parents are kept informed and their views are valued equally as much all the way through the process. So possibly in terms of once you finish level 2 plumbing, the first port of call would be an apprenticeship, so that's working with an employer, attending the college then on a block release program. Or you could move on to level 2 should you be unsuccessful in finding an employer. So electrical level 2 is very, very closely knitted in building services to plumbing, and the two areas complement each other really well. It could be as a third option that you'd like to do something completely different, and the college obviously has a massive variety of courses of which you can choose from. So there are your 3 options on your progression routes. Okay, we've reached the last slide, so this is really about applications and how they work. So if you do have a general inquiry, if you want to please put it through the college's website, it will come to a member of the team and one of us will be able to get back to you very, very shortly responding to your query. If you are interested in terms of application, again use the website please to fill out your application form. The college at the minute are currently conducting telephone interviews, and one of the plumbing members of staff will be in touch with you shortly to carry out an interview. At the end of the interview you will know if you're a successful candidate on the course or not, so we give instant feedback straight away, and we hope to see you all in September.